Hey guys, welcome back. Patrick here. So today we got the midweek SPAC news and price update. I know it's been a couple of weeks. I've not been as consistent as you guys might notice. Hopefully, I'm trying to figure out a lot of the more technical aspects of making videos, like the lighting and stuff like that. So sorry about that. It's been taking me a little bit longer than expected. If you guys don't mind, comment and let me know, is the sound better or was it better before? You know, I'm still experimenting with all of the settings. So anyway, today's the midweek SPAC update. We're going to be talking about different SPACs or X-SPACs that caught my attention this week. And this video series is me basically giving an update on the prices, on big news, and also just my general opinion about these stocks at the current price. So let's get started today. Please like and subscribe. It really helps out. Alright guys, let's begin with LCA, Golden Nugget Online. If you guys remember, a few months ago, I made that top 3 best SPACs to purchase, and it was one of my top 3. I love this stock. I think it has a massive potential for a lot of different reasons if you guys want to watch the review. But what I noticed right now is that it's at $14.96, and over the past few days, it's really starting to get momentum again. For a while, it was pretty ugly. I mean, it had gone down from the high of 1928 all the way down to the 12s, and that was criminal almost. I mean, this is a very, very strong stock. The reason why, what really kickstart this momentum shift is when they published their Q3 earnings. And even though they're like preliminary and we'll probably get more details in the future, you guys know that this company over and over again delivers massive numbers. So for the Q3 preliminary earnings, they announced 28.9 million in revenue. So a 93% increase for those of you that missed it. Net revenue 25.9, so that's a 92% increase. And then operating income, so that's actual profit of an increase of 92%. So, you know, when you have a company that's growing almost 100% year over year, it's hard to keep it down, right? Even if people have a lot of doubts about Tillman Fertitta and all of that, you know, in the end, we're getting his best asset. And that's one of the things that I tell people when we're talking about LCA is that you can keep the restaurants, you can keep the physical casino. I wouldn't want it. I wouldn't be investing in that. But the digital platform, which is profitable since 2016, that's what I'm interested in. So if you look at their projections, right, if you guys look at the investor presentation, this beats their own projections, which, as we mentioned before, in the investor presentation, they're giving this to potential investors. You know, they're very optimistic. They present a great picture of the company. And still, the actual numbers are higher because they anticipated that in the fall, with COVID dwindling down, people would stop playing online and would go back to the physical casinos, and that was going to hurt their revenues. That's why their projections are down, right, in that little downtrend. But we know that's not the case. We're in the middle of the second wave right now. Some states are re-adding new restrictions, and we get confirmation from the New Jersey Gaming Commission that the numbers are just improving every month. So as you guys can see, the physical casinos recovered from previous months, right? There's more people that went back to the physical casinos, only down 28.7%, but the iGaming platform didn't stop producing, up 69.2%. last month in October. So as you guys can see, tremendous growth, and like the only negative catalyst is eventually when the vaccine comes, eventually that will hurt the iGaming platform a little bit. But what we anticipate is that by then, since it's going to take months and months and months for all the population to get access to the vaccine, right? Well, by that time, they will have that license in Michigan. They will have that license in Pennsylvania, and that's going to more than make up for those numbers. Because you guys have to remember, the size of the market in New Jersey, right, in 2025 is going to be 950 million for iGaming. But if you add Michigan and Pennsylvania, that's another $1.5 billion. So the total addressable market is up 150%. So that's just why this company to me is a no-brainer. I had sold it at $17 when it was just straight going down, but I reopened a position at $13.68, and now finally I'm back in the green. So now the two big questions are, when is the company finally going to merge? And we have very little detail about that. Right now, they filed another revised proxy statement on the 9th, so a week and a half ago. And since then, they haven't really given an update. People thought, hey, they filed the revised statement, it's like the 3rd or 4th. Now they'll be announcing the merger date very shortly. Well, it hasn't happened yet. And as we'll see with some of the other SPACs that are going to be merging in early and mid-December, well, at this rate, if they don't get their act together, we won't merge until mid to late December, if not early January. And that leads me to the second question: when are they going to actually get those licenses in Michigan and Pennsylvania, which are two huge catalysts for us? And if I can knock the company about something, is that they are doing a poor job at communicating with the shareholders. All the other SPACs that we're following, they do conference calls, they do, investor presentations, they give a lot of updates on what the company is doing. Not so much with LCA, Golden Nugget Online. Where are we at with the process? Are we still on track to open in Michigan in the first quarter of 2021? I would like them to give us a little bit more information about that. All right, guys, let's close LCA by looking at the chart. Right now, I am a buy and hold investor with this stock. My cost basis is $13.68, and I'm not going to be trading it anymore. So if we look at the chart, you guys can see that they recently passed one of the resistances, and the next one we're starting to hit against it is at 15.10. Well, we're very close because right now the shares are at 14.96. So it's very likely that either tomorrow or at the end of the week, it's going to hit against it. Now the question is it going to get rejected like it did here, and went back down, or is it going to be accepted and go above it? I do personally think that it will pass the resistance very easily, and I wouldn't be surprised if we got back to this level of 17. Eventually, before the merger, if we keep at this rate, because the stock has a lot of momentum with the earnings that were announced, plus the fact that money is flowing into SPACs again, I would not be surprised if we got back to the $18, even $20 range. But I don't think that we can get to my original price target of 25 before the merger. But still, if we can get to 18, that would be an amazing gain. So you guys let me know what you think about LCA, but it's still one of my top plays. Next up, we've got HCAC Canoo. This is going to be a quick update just to let you guys know I still like the company. I still believe it is the best risk versus reward play in electric vehicles. Better than Tesla that just got included in the S&P 500. Better than Fisker. But we have to be realistic. They just can't seem to gain any traction, and because of that, I'm starting to lose a little bit of enthusiasm about it. Because in the end, right, it's not about liking a company, it's about making returns on your investment. And right now, they're just not doing it. While Lordstown is up 100%, this company is up about 12 cents over the past week. So because of that, we have to look at it like, what's causing this? Well, what I'm noticing is that there's companies that are just born with the hype, and then there's companies that aren't. It is very difficult to manufacture hype. Companies like Fisker, from the beginning, people wanted to invest in it. Lordstown, people wanted to invest in it. Companies at 25, doesn't matter. We're just going to pour money into it. So now Lordstown is up again today. So that's not happened with Canoo so far. Even though they're trying really hard to generate interest. You guys know that they've been paying a lot of influencers to generate interest and bring the Canoo name out, right? This is the latest one. I actually really like the wrap personally. I like the concept, and it's going to open a lot of possibilities, especially if you think about B2B, right? Uber drivers, Lyft drivers, they could even sell advertisements here if they wanted to. So to me, that is a great thing about the company, and I like the design. They've been paying Casey Neistat to make videos about it. Of course, Barbie Blank. They've been paying a lot of influencers, but still, how has that impacted the share price? Not at all. You guys can see how flat it's been. In fact, it dropped from the peaks. So because of that, I'm a little bit concerned about the company. Now, today, we did see a nice little jump. And what is that attributable to? That's hard to tell. To me, it is very likely that is because tomorrow they're going to be presenting at Barclays Automotive Conference, and that would be a great spot to do some announcements. If they just repeat everything we already know, it's going to fall flat. But if they announce when the shareholder meeting is going to be, that would be a very good positive. Or, any other significant announcement that they can have tomorrow would be a great opportunity. So I'm going to be watching it, right? Thursday, November 19th at 4:05 p.m. Strongly encourage you guys to watch it too. Aside from that, I heard that the CFO announced a couple days ago that they're just waiting on the SEC now. So it is going to be announced fairly soon, right? As soon as the SEC gets off its butt and accepts their filing, they will announce a shareholder meeting. By the way, I just wanted to thank you guys that signed up for the affiliate link for Canoo, the first wave. Links in the description. I don't make money off of it, but if you want to get the latest updates on the company, they'll just email them to you. I signed up 22 people so far, so I might get a cap and a hoodie at some point when they actually ship them. I don't know when, but thank you guys that signed up. And if you guys are interested, you can find the link below. All right, next up, we've got Desktop Metal TRNE. This is a company that I don't talk about very often, even though it is one of my bigger positions, and I really like this stock. But what I don't like is the share price, 1037. This is one of the SPACs that has really gotten crushed over the past month and a half. But unlike some of the other ones, it just has not recovered. Instead of having positive traction, it has negative traction. Right? For a while, it had a nice little spike in price up to $13. But since then, it's been in a pure downtrend with absolutely nothing going well for the share price. And that does bring me a lot of concern, and I'm kind of in a weird spot here because I do believe in the company long term. But since I have shares instead of warrants, I'm stuck because after the merger, if the share price goes down, that's going to hurt my portfolio. And at this rate, right, since we're in a downtrend, it is possible still that it's going to go under $10 after the merger. Speaking of which, the shareholder meeting is going to be on December 8th. At 9 a.m., so make sure that you vote. I'm on E-Trade. I still have not received it yet. I've heard on other brokerages people have received the proxy statement. So vote if you can. They're going to need all of the votes that they can get. But if we go back to what I was talking about, right, after the merger, it is possible that it's going to go under $10, and that might hurt my portfolio. So I'm kind of like on the fence about it. The fact that I have a big position in it, I'm not sure if I should cut a little bit, right, just to limit my exposure, and I can always buy back in later. The big thing with TRNE Desktop Metal is that it's not sexy like one of the electric vehicle companies. We're talking about the hype factor with Fisker. Well, this is a 3D printing company, right? They don't really have any hype around it. They just can't get a bikini model and have her pose in front of a 3D printer and put it on Instagram. It's just not going to do anything for the share price. This company is going to be a lot more fundamentals driven, like when they get a lot more revenues and a lot of profits. So if they can execute on their projections, the share price will go up a lot in the next few years. But for now, it's stuck very close to the $10. And that is pretty unfortunate because this is a company who's constantly announcing new contracts. Like this one. Recently, they now sell in the United Kingdom their first sale of the shop system, which for those of you not familiar with the company's line of products is their next generation product, right? They launched their first one in 2018. Now they're launching one at December, right? In 1 month in 2020. And then this large scale model is going to be in 2021. Then their flagship product is going to be in 2022. So they're starting to have mass distribution. This was the first one in the United Kingdom, and that just opens the door to more customers all over the world. That is one of the strengths of this company, is that they have mass appeal in every country. So often we focus on companies that only sell in the United States, which is a big market. But when you have worldwide distribution, it just allows you to get that 10x projections on your revenues like they have. They plan on increasing their revenue massively from now until 2025 as they release these new products and have mass distribution. And each unit that they generate and sell really adds to their recurring revenues. Because a shop like this, right, they make $290,000 up front, but then they're going to be selling the binding agents over and over again, and that's going to help them get that recurring revenue. So if you like, these are their projections, right, the current economics for each system that they're selling, and as you guys can see, over 10 years, they plan on making 1.1 million in revenue and then 600,000 in gross profit. So every time they sell a unit, they're just building these blocks that are going to keep adding to the revenue over the next several years. And that's how it's going to generate so much growth. So the cool thing about this company is that they have such a wide distribution and are used by a lot of different types of companies. Right, as this article says, they can use it to make rocket engines, golf clubs, automobile parts. So this company is not going anywhere. There will be a lot of use for 3D printing in the future, especially if you think about the fact that right now with 3D printing, if they can deliver on their promise, right, of being 100 times faster than the current models, Think about the fact that with COVID, there was a lot of supply chain disruption over the past several months, right? Importing parts from China and all of that. Well, now with this system, they'll just be able to do print on demand. We need 20,000 bowls of one kind or 20,000 parts. Well, they can just launch a batch, get it, and they won't have to store all these parts in big warehouses all over the country. So this is going to be a big game changer in the future if they can deliver on it. So because of that, even though I wouldn't necessarily buy shares right now, right, because of that massive downtrend, I'm not going to be selling them. I'm going to ride the wave with this one, and I do believe that it's going to do very well in the future. All right, guys, in the wrap up, I want to talk about GMHI Luminar. The reason why is, let me grab it. A couple of days ago, I received this big brick in the mail, right? They sent me the proxy statement in the mail, and the shareholder meeting vote to vote on the merger is going to be on December 1st. So if you have not voted yet, please do so. Every vote counts, as we saw with Tattooed Chef before, when they didn't have enough votes, so they had to delay it to give people more time. So please vote if you can. Now, if we look at the share price, 10.20, and this is one more stock that I picked and that I have a very sizable position in that's just not really getting any traction, kind of like Desktop Metal. In fact, if we look at the chart, you guys can see that it is very much the same chart, except for that last little boost at the end with Desktop Metal. So this stock is flat, it is vulnerable, even though it is very difficult to understand because they are getting ridiculously good news over and over again. Recently, you guys know that Daimler is opening a minority stake in the company, right? And they're making them their big partner for self-driving trucks. That's going to be their main partner in their self-driving program is going to be Luminar laser. So that is a huge good news, and yet the stock price has not moved at all. Now, even more than that, Luminar increases guidance, accelerating deals. So I'm not going to read everything, but just the cliff notes, if you will. New deals and increased volume lead to estimated 1.3 billion order book by year end, up from 1 billion target. And then currently, this is the one I want to show you. Luminar is engaged with 50% more OEM programs for series production deals. When they talk about series production, we're talking about a line of vehicles. So 50% more OEM programs for series production deals to be awarded over the next 24 months. Now 12, up from 8 in August, only 4 modeled in financial forecast. So when we were looking at the investor presentation, they were basing their numbers on the 4 that they had at the time. So that increased to 8 in August and now 12. So this is one of those companies, and that trend continues where being in a SPAC awards them amazing marketing and branding, right? People learn about the company that had never heard of it before. We've seen this with a lot of different companies, like with Hyliion, where companies are calling them now inquiring about the products. Well, this company is getting a lot of traction when it comes to the different partnerships, right? And they keep announcing more and more every day. So despite that, the stock price is not moving. So the company is firing on all cylinders, and this is exactly what you would expect from Austin Russell, the young CEO. He's very energetic. He built this company from scratch, and this is why I like founder-led companies. This is what he does all day, every day. That's all he thinks about, right? He wakes up, he's thinking about Luminar. Goes to bed, if he even sleeps, he's thinking about Luminar. And his entire legacy and future depends on this company, as opposed to a Wall Street executive which gets paid millions of dollars regardless if the company makes profits or not. Well, Austin, he wants a company to succeed. His entire legacy depends on it. So because of that, they're well ahead of schedule. They're firing on all cylinders. And as you guys can see, they recently got more good news. They managed to get into supply agreements and reduce all 3 of their key parts of their system under $100. Well, obviously, every time they install one of the LiDAR systems, right, the lower cost they can get, the higher the profit margin, and eventually that's going to turn revenues into profits. And of course, that's going to be very good for us shareholders. So once again, they're ahead of the curve when it comes to their milestones. What can I say? I like this company. I'm in a tough spot because of the shares going, sideways for now. They're vulnerable short term. But it's the type of opportunity where, they increased their order book from 1 billion to 1.3 billion for this year. Yeah, this company has massive growth potential. It is more of a spec play. It is more high risk, high reward, but I'm not going to be selling it. I'm going to be keeping it long term. And, when it's 10x from where it is now, I'll reap the profits. So guys, quick updates today. I'm just testing out the new material and stuff like that. I enjoy your comments. Some of you are sending me emails. If you have any questions, go ahead, no problem. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you.